So Forge in the Barrens comes out today, and I wanted to cover some of the decks I'm going to be trying out on day one. Now, I do recommend you kind of just play with whatever you want. Day one, there's no real meta that's been established. You can kind of play anything and have a good time, you know, do well with it. There's no defined meta. This is a time for experimentation, and if you ever wanted to test your deck building skills. But I know for a lot of people that's very intimidating. So I'm going to give you what I'm going to try on day one. Doesn't mean these are going to be meta. Doesn't mean that you should try these. If you think, hey, why isn't this card in there? Go ahead and swap it out. If you think, hey, I don't have this card, I don't have Mancrick, then swap it out for really anything that you think might fill a similar purpose. So let's go ahead and jump into the decks I have here. I got 5 decks. I will link to these in the description. They're all on my Hearthstone account. And first up is this Wrangler Sunscale Hunter. Now, I really like Hunter. It's just so much fun for me, really capitalizing on the War Song Wrangler here, discovering a beast in your deck and giving all copies of it +1/+2. Very good. Also, we have the breeder in here to kind of pull a minion. Maybe we want that Trampling Rhino. Maybe we want that Zixor. Maybe we want the Sunscale Raptor. So we just get an extra copy of it, and then we can, you know, buff it with the Wrangler, or maybe we can find the final copy or just another copy using that Wrangler. We have the Koklar Pack Runner in here, which is pretty interesting. Our idea here is just that, well, you can summon a lot of little dudes. It's got a solid stat line with the River Croc body with a good upside where after you cast those spells. So we do have Adorable Infestation, which is a cheap spell. We have Wound Prey, which is another cheap spell. We have Ingenuity, which we can use. We have Tame Beast. And yeah, it just seems like it might get some decent value. Maybe you want an additional infestation in here. I opted for 1 because it often just feels awkward to me to kind of top deck your infestation. Now we do have Tavish in here, and well, the main awkward spot for me is that your Trampling Rhino, because it's a 5, working with Tavish, there's no 4-mana minion to really capitalize on. But you still want the Trampling Rhinos because they're just big minions. You're happy to pull them with your Scav. You're happy to buff them up with your Wrangler. You're happy to shuffle them with Dire Frenzy. That could be a lot of fun. And yeah, but we have a 3-mana minion. That would be the Pack Kodo. That would be Zixor as well. If those end up hitting when you have Tavish on the board, they're going to pull a 2-mana minion, which might be that Oasis Thrasher. Then that 2-mana minion can hit and pull a Sunscale Raptor. So I think there is going to be a good Beast Hunter deck like this. This is obviously not refined or anything, but I'm really excited for this archetype and really excited to see where it goes. A new inclusion for me here is the Oasis Thrasher. I think maybe hitting it with a Wound Prey for a little bit of damage, or, you know, just trading into it with something. It's going to feel pretty solid. Also pulling it off of one of the 3-mana minions attacking either the Pack Kodo or Zixor. It's going to feel pretty good as well. So yeah, really having a, well, I'm just excited about Hunter. Next up, we have this no Minion Mage, and I kind of put an asterisk in this deck title, which I guess you can't even see because it does have minions. Kind of weird, right? But I was looking at no Minion Mage and I was like, dang, this is really powerful. We have a lot of cycle. We can discount all of our cards with Incanter's Flow, but it just, like, the payoff for Apexis Blast and the payoff for random mage minions just didn't seem to be worth it anymore. I really missed messing around with Mordresh, which this deck is kind of banking on here, and I realized how powerful the Reckless Apprentices are because you can buff up your hero power with the Wildfire. So you use Wildfire, constantly cycling through your deck, and then you throw out some Reckless Apprentice for some AoE. We got Mordresh here for more AoE to clear things up, and it's going to be easily completed with the Apprentice. And now that I think about it, maybe we actually want more AoE in here. Maybe I end up dropping a Deep Freeze for Flame Strike. Now Flame Strike does more damage, right? So maybe I end up changing this a little bit, but it really depends on how the meta shapes up. I do have 2 Primordial Studies, which might be cuttable, but I was thinking maybe getting a minion out so we could trigger the Oasis Ally. It might be smart. But the idea here is you really use the Refreshing Spring Water. I think this is my number 2 card from the set. It's pretty much 0-mana draw 2 in many scenarios. And if you discount it using the Incanter's Flow, it becomes -1 mana, kinda, right? If you have more than 4 mana, you spend 3 on this and you're gonna refresh 4 mana crystals. So it might be really cool. Of course, we do have minions in here with Reckless, Varden, and Mordresh, but you're pretty happy to draw those, and hopefully you just don't hit 2 minions. So at worst case scenario, it's 2 mana draw 2, which is still fantastic. But yeah, overall, very excited. I messed around with this a little bit in theory crafting, and it felt really fun and promising. I think with some refinement, it could be a solid deck, and it felt like a lot of fun to me. Maybe even want a Potion of Illusion in here, so maybe you can somehow cheese out some extra Mordresh somehow. When you'd probably want to shove Mana Biscuits in here as well, but I'm not going for a combo. I don't think we need the combo on day 1 anyways. Next up is this Rush Rokara Warrior. Now Rokara really impressed me way better than I had anticipated just by looking at it on paper. When I was playing this, it felt amazing. If you manage to go Playmaker and Rokara on turn 6 and you have like 3 minions, maybe 4 minions, even 2 minions, you're gonna get a ton of value. +2/+2 because you'll have 2 Rokaras. Yeah, just really good. We did shove in some Gnargs in here for a little bit more weapon consistency, because when I was playing this, cutting class sometimes just didn't go off. We do have the Sunwell Initiates. I ended up dropping our other Frenzy minions because they felt a little bit awkward. So really all we have is the Initiates, and the Anchorman was Samuro. I dropped because it felt a little bit weak pulling it off of Saurfang, and I want Saurfang to be this big, massive, swingy turn. And when you're pulling Samuro, it feels a little bit weird. So maybe it's worth it to put Samuro, but I want to try no Samuro. I did throw 1 feat of strength in here, and my idea is you're pretty happy to play this on turn 3, especially if it hits the Morshan Elite, because you're going to get, well, +5/+5 twice. It's going to be +10/+10 if you summon 2 Morshan Elites. And worst case, I guess worst case is actually you have nothing to hit it with, but another case is that it hits your Sword Eater. So you curve turn 3, you kind of do nothing, into a turn 4, what is this, 7/10? Pretty good. And it also gives you that weapon, and then maybe you can curve into a nice strong 5-drop. But yeah, all of our taunts, which aren't many, pretty happy to hit that feat of strength. I'm only running 1 though, because I definitely feel like it can whiff. So hopefully we just don't whiff it, right? It might be cuttable, or I feel like it might even be nutty, and I might end up wanting to add another one. Outrider's Axe, absolutely insane. I love this card. So much draw, just so freaking good. So good. Then we got Mankrik in here because, well, why not? Might be cuttable, honestly. We'll have to see how it pans out. Right, next up, I got this Wind Fury Shaman. This is a deck that I feel like I'm just going to constantly tinker with and bring through, constantly playing the whole expansion, because, well, it's one that I've really taken a liking to. I was playing it last expansion, and I feel like it got even more support now. We do have the Firebird here with Wind Fury, but we're really just capitalizing on all of our Wind Fury minions. We have the Firebird, we have Ghidra, we now have Arid Stormer, and I think that's it. We could put the Rush Murloc if we wanted to, but I really wanted to also capitalize on elemental minions. So we do have a lot of elemental action going on. We have the Kindling Elemental, which I think, that's not it. That's not right. Yeah, there it is. It's very good. Playing this on 1 and then curving it into an Arid Stormer is pretty insane. It's going to give you a lot of board presence, and might just snowball the game. Or, you know, maybe you play Kindling Elemental and then you play Lilypad Lurker on 4 or something like that. Or maybe you play it into really like a Firebird. Like, there's so many different options. I think this card is a little bit slept on. Super good in any class that can really run an Elemental archetype. So I might want to mess around with this in an Elemental Mage as well. But yeah, you just stick Wind Fury minions, you buff them up, and you slap them in the face. Now we do have Novice Zapper, and Novice Zapper doesn't really get too much value here aside from Serpent Shrine Portal, or maybe using Fireheart, but it is a 1-mana 3/2, so I wanted to mess around with it. This might be cuttable, or maybe we end up tinkering with the list so that we have Landslide, or maybe we want Raz, whatever, in here. And yeah, I don't know, but it feels great. Love Wind Fury, love juicing my minions up, and yeah, we have 1 Rockbiter in here for a finish as well. So the last deck we have here is this this Secret Dude Paladin. This is an archetype I'm not too excited about. I even put Cannon Master as my most overrated card. I think he's a bit overrated. I don't think this deck's going to pan out, but for day one, I definitely want to tinker around with this thing. Maybe someone ends up finding a viable build. I hope I'm wrong because I love Cannon Master. He's got a really cool effect here. My main problem is I just don't think the Paladin secrets are strong enough, and I don't think it sucks to draw them. Playing them just doesn't feel too great. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up working out because they have so many good secret cards. I just feel like they don't have enough good secrets. Like Cannon Master, pretty dang good. Sword of the Fallen, absolutely insane. 2 mana, 1/3 can also, you know, it casts a secret from your deck. It's almost like drawing 3 things. And then we also have the Northwatch Commander, where if you control the secret, you draw a minion. So 3 mana, 3/4 that also draws a minion. Very good, but you also have to make sure you don't trigger that secret. And yeah, and then we also got Conviction in here for just, you know, you stick some dudes and then you buff them up with a Conviction and you hit your opponent in the face. Each one of these will do 9 damage once you have 10 mana. So if you stick 3 dudes, you have 2 Convictions in hand. That's going to be a lot of damage. We do have Talon in here in order to draw your Lothraxian or your Cannon Master. One or the other, you've probably already drawn one of them by then. But we really might see Lothraxian shine this expansion because, well, once you've played Lothraxian, he's going to summon dudes with Divine Shield. And once you start summoning dudes with Divine Shield, maybe they're going to stick around. You're going to hit them with a Conviction, and you're going to punch face. So after you've Lothraxian'd, maybe you do a day at the fair, get 5 dudes with Divine Shield, or maybe just do a Stand Against Darkness, get 5 dudes with Divine Shield, and then yeah, slap them with that that Conviction or some hands or something. Also, we have Kazakus in here because, believe it or not, there's not that many 4-drops we did want to run here. I think maybe a King's, maybe the new legendary Rush minion. If you don't have Kazakus, just shoo that in here instead and tinker with the list a little bit. But it's a weird list because you want to run dude, you want to run secrets, but there's not that many good secrets. And the dude cards are also kind of limited in what you want to play. And then Balloon Merchant is a little bit awkward with Lothraxian because you're kind of doubling up on that Divine Shield. And then you run Talon so you can find Lothraxian a little more consistently. And it's all just a little bit strange. The archetype is kind of, I don't know. Maybe you end up going more into dude, or maybe you end up going more into secret and you don't do dude secret. But seems like it's going to be a good time. Again, remember, this is time for experimentation. So many cool decks that you could try out. Don't craft anything. If you're missing a legendary, just put something else in instead and kind of wait and see how the meta shapes up. But yeah, I'm super pumped for this. This is looking like a fantastic expansion so far. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about Rogue being a little bit too broken with some combos. If that doesn't end up being a thing, I'll be very happy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Good luck on ladder and stay hydrated.